He's like, go. Ezekiel and reincarnation.
Look at Ezekiel 17 chapter, how it goes into our captivity, how we were carried away to America, which we know is Mystery Babylon. But when you go into it, it actually keys in on certain points that actually happened in the Babylonian captivity, and then you can still relate it to actually the end all be all of what's happening right now. Because being here, and the end of it goes into our salvation and how we're going to rule. So if a brother can pull up Ezekiel, start from the top, and I'm going to open it up. 17, 1. Absolutely, Dr. Shaw.
You got another page, y'all copy?
I got a song about it. That's 2.
Okay.
Alright, Ezekiel 17:1, it says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, put forth a riddle, and speak a parable unto the house of Israel."
Yes, put forth a riddle. You know, as brothers going into Ezekiel, Ezekiel's a hard book. It's full of parables. Our heritage is actually, that's how we learn signs and parables and all. That's how we were always taught. When he says, "Put forth this parable unto Israel," which a parable just means a riddle.
It's always like that for the elect.
That's right.
It's a puzzle for the elect. Only that's what I usually hear.
See, look.
Absolutely. You can go on, brother.
It says, "And speak a parable unto the house of Israel," verse 3. "And say, Thus saith the Lord power."
And about the Shaw, mind you, it does say a parable, but it goes into clear history on it. But the parable is what's actually happening right now.
Right.
That was the mystery, how this is actually going into right now. And it uses those accounts of ancient history to clearly give you clues like, look, you still going through this, man. You're going to go through it from then on until the Lord comes back.
Right, well, that's the problem they have with how we teach these clowns. The book is living. This is a living book. So a lot of these, when you read the Old Testament, just because something happened don't mean it can't be spiritually applied to now.
Right, exactly. Right.
And that's where you got to have the spirit to get it. Because you can easily say, "Oh, you have to do it." But spiritually, it's happening again. It's the book of life. It's living. It's always living. You can always attach particular things from then to now.
It's always relevant to whatever time you in.
Right. Because the end all be all is that you're going to be in the captivity into this time.
That's right.
That's right. That's the bottom line. So Babylon applies to this, Assyria, Egypt, all that. Same thing.
Exactly.
How is the same? The word is the same, just throughout whatever time you're in, from ancient to current or whatever time you're in. Even in the kingdom, everything, how it's written, is going to be that way.
That's right.
That's right. Like how was y'all coming in riding in on the ass? You know what I'm saying? Is it going to come in riding on a donkey?
Right.
Yeah. Jay don't be fair.
Solomon did.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, our shot's gonna come riding on a white horse. The chariot.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, could you pull this the precept up? Yeah.
Alright, so Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says, "The thing that had been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done."
That's
And
right.
there is no new thing under the sun.
Just like that other statement, man. We read certain accounts in history. We read certain accounts within the prophets. And of course, we understand at that time they were seeing those things actually take place. And they were told those things were going to happen. But it was really a bigger picture that was being told unto them. It was a vision of end time prophecy. Okay, we understand there's nothing new under the sun. We understand we've been in captivity all the way since the time of ancient Egypt, all the way to right now. All right, but just because we read these things right now and then apply for the history, you're taking away from what you're going through to people right now, man. You're saying that that doesn't apply to right now. Why doesn't it apply to right now?
Right.
You're still a slave in America.
Yeah. So what does apply to right now? That's the
right.
question. So what does apply to now?
Exactly.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying? If we're just reading this book, if this book is just a book, then we might as well just close it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying. It was for the prophet. It was for the prophets to break down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The apostles and elders done said many a times, man. You had prophets that would write things down, die, come back and understand it and read it and break it down.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? That's how cold the Lord is, man. You shortchanging the Lord talking about this thing. No, man. Look, it just said that which was then is now.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Right.
Can I get this for you? This is Hebrews 13 and 8. It says, Yahweh HaMashiach the same yesterday and today and forever.
So Yahushua is the same as yesterday and today and forever. The Heavenly Father has to be the same way.
Well, what is Yahushua?
He's the express image in the Word.
He's the Word.
Right.
So the Word, because people want to say the things that we break down, that was for that time. That was back then.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's all relevant to whatever time you're in.
Even the sacrifice.
Yeah, everything.
The sacrifices were done away with as far as Yahushua being an animal, the final sacrifice, but we have to make our bodies a living sacrifice.
Always.
As priests.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it changed.
Mm-hmm.
It evolves.
If all these things were written for our learning, that's what I'm saying. You learn these things to do what? Apply it today.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't get around it, man. You can't get around it. Don't say that that's for that time just because you don't get it.
Right. The abomination that makes it desolate is coming back too.
You know?
Martial law.
Talking back to Brother Yaakov. This is Malachi 3. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. That's what I'm saying. That's why every single captivity had Israelites that made it.
That's right.
The elect. That's what I'm saying. So what are we doing here?
Kind of. And I want to bring this quick precept out too, because it tackles everything we're talking about in Ezekiel 17:1. All right. It says Matthew 13:11. I'm going to start at verse 10. And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables, or enigmas, or riddles? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them it is not given. So these people that like to just go into how it's only talking about history, they're only meant to think of it so as that.
That's right.
Because it ain't given unto them to think of it as right now.
That's right.
You know, they only think of it as it's history. They don't understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. They're only ordinary mortals. You know?
That's it. Isn't that wrong?
That's right. We can jump back to Ezekiel 17.
Now, this is Ezekiel 17:3. It say, Thus saith the Lord power, a great eagle with great wings, long winged, full of feathers, which had divers colors,
Hosea 81.
came unto Lebanon and took the highest branch of the cedar.
Okay, so that eagle, at the end all be all, man, that eagle is talking about Esau. Okay? Now we understand a lot of ancient empires that used the eagle, the ancient Grecians, the ancient Romans. Even the ancient Egyptians would use eagles in certain instances, but an eagle is a bird that flies higher than every other bird in the sky.
Bird, right. No other bird flies that high.
That's right. So it goes into the rulers, the ultimate supreme rulers in the planet Earth. Now Ezekiel was talking about an eagle, which in his life, the Babylonians at this time were the hegemoncy of rulership.
Right.
But you look at it and symbolically know that it's talking about the so-called white man with us today.
Right. Well, just like Habakkuk, when he was asking, why are you letting all this wickedness go on? You know, and how is it going to end? It's going to end through, he said, I'm going to raise up the Chaldeans.
Right.
And then that bitter and hasty nation. But that symbolically, of course, of that time, it was the Chaldeans, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, but really, it's all going to end. Wickedness as a whole is going to end through the modern day Chaldeans.
That's right. That's right.
It's all spiritual.
God, absolutely. Absolutely. You got that in Hosea?
I got it. Hosea 8:1.
Could you put up Deuteronomy 24:1?
Hosea 8:1. Set the trumpet to thy mouth, he shall come as an eagle against the house of Yahweh.
Can you read that again, Slot?
Right? Hosea 8:1. Set the trumpet to thy mouth, he shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord.
Set the trumpet to thy mouth. So what does that mean? It means to cry loud.
Give warning.
Give warning to prophesy and let them know that this eagle out here is here to give you the sword. You know, and that's the word of the trumpet. You know, the blowing of the trumpet is us speaking this word on highways and byways, doing these lessons, all right, teaching one another, giving warning. All right, we're the ones that stand on the walls to watch. Okay, so I got another pen for you.
I got another.
I need one too. Well, you know, Jeremiah did the same thing. He was telling Israel that they was going to go into captivity, the temple was going to be there. That's right, the sellout. That's right. When you come in that same stead.
Absolutely.
I got a quick precept to prove that. Which is 2 Ezra chapter 2 and 17. It says, Fear not, thou mother of the children, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. For thy help I will send my servants, Isaiah and Jeremiah, after whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for the 12 trees laden with diverse fruits. Now, they had already stopped.
Right.
Let's talk about the men of the Lord, period.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And let you know Isaiah and Jeremiah was going to be back there.
Right.
But ultimately, like the elder stated, that goes into the elect.
Right.
You know, we're all going to be doing that.
Right.
You know. You got that in Deuteronomy 28?
49, verse 49.
This right here, the scripture that we're going to bring out is Hebrew Israelite 101. But at the end of the day, you know, as the scripture say, to desire the sincere milk. Okay, because, you know, milk builds strong bones, and this milk is very important to our growth.
Right.
All right? Like, you can read a precept and go back to the milk and get a completely more heightened understanding on what you've understood before. You know?
This is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
So when you read it in Ezekiel the 17th chapter, and I'm going to just read just some verse 3 again. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, power, a great eagle with great wings, long-winded, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came from Lebanon and took the highest branch of the cedar. Okay, so this eagle that the brother's going into, this is really talking about the so-called white man. Right. All right, and who is the highest branch of the cedar? What is a cedar tree? A cedar is known for being a very high tree. And the highest branch pretty much just goes into the highest of Israel.
That's right.
You know? And they had taken us, man. We had been taken down. Ancient Babylon did that, and it happened all over again during the transatlantic slave trade. Okay? Go ahead, dog.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't understand their tongue when they came. Okay, they came over here speaking Portugal and Spanish. Well, even in the time of Rome, they came speaking Latin. Yeah, we didn't understand Latin around that time. You know, because the Romans are still the eagle at the point. You know, Esau today are the same energy of the Romans. America today follows the same customs as the Romans. That's why we say this is Rome 7.0.
Yeah.
All right, so when those Romans came, they were speaking Latin. Yeah. We didn't understand Latin. We were speaking Hebrew, man. All right.
It's kind of like also it's kind of like with their reboot of Roots. They show you in there when Jake was brought over here to America, they didn't understand. They was told to do something, and they looking, and then the handler for Esau, another Jake, would try to talk to him because he knew, you know, they taught him how to speak English. But Jake just sitting there looking like, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of Jake was getting killed over here.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you're saying.
Well, you know, vocab and them say that, you know, when we read these verses that already this was played out here, you know, the siege of Jerusalem, you know, 70 AD, but it all applies to now, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All of these things that we read in the curses can be tied to now as well.
That's right.
Yeah, a lot of those things we're talking about what was going to happen at this time. Right. Spiritually talking about this.
That's right.
That's why the last one was the slave ship.
You know what I'm saying?
They don't understand reincarnation either, because they don't believe that kingdoms are reincarnated. They don't believe that people are reincarnated. They don't believe none of that. You know what I'm saying? So the understanding that they have is very limited. That's what I'm saying. Without the understanding of reincarnation, your understanding of the Bible is very, very, very limited.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Because the Lord made all these promises to all these dead people. That would make him a liar.
Exactly. And that made him a God of the dead, not a God of the living.
You see? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
That's right.
That's right.
And the Bible is a living book, man, because there's all types of books that were relevant to certain histories that happened at that time. But the Bible is a living book, man. It's relevant to any time, man.
That's right.
That's what I'm saying. There's so many things that haven't happened. That was like, just because it's in the Old Testament don't mean it's already happened.
Exactly.
You can't just, that's what I'm saying. You cheating yourself with that logic.
That's right. That's straight up.
And the congregation for that matter.
That's right. This is back in Deuteronomy 28, verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young.
Yeah, man. Very, a very unmerciful nation of people. You know, now we read about it what? And we read about it in the history of the ancient Assyrians, how they taken us down, and the heinous things that they've done to us. We read about the ancient Babylonians, and we read about the Grecians, and we read about, the Edomites today, even the Persians. You know, even though they show us more mercy, but still at the end of the day, these people had enough power to rule the known world around that time, and they didn't just ease in to take the world. No, they had to take it by force. You know, when Esau completed all that, they used everything that those ancient kingdoms had done, and they took that to their own repertoire and transformed that thing, man. That's why when you read it in Daniel the 7th chapter, it talks about that fourth beast having those iron teeth. And teeth are meant to devour. And iron is a very strong metal substance that is very hard to be broken. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't anybody just break iron? Yep. That's why Romans have been ruling for so long. Same thing about the Edomites. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's continue.
No,
yeah. For metals, like to break metal down, it takes a special tool. And that special tool is gonna be how shimmy how shine.
That's right.
You can't just break metal. You can't just go get no tool out the toolbox and think you can to break that piece of metal. It's gonna take a special tool, and that special tool is how about shimmy how shine.
That's right.
He bringing fire.
Yeah. That's right.
That's right.
And if I could also add, like you said, you know, they were like, well, that happened then. Nah, man, that happened in this captivity, man.
Right.
We cannot like he was going into those other nations. Let's talk about the Arabic trade, slave trade as well. How they was doing, Jake, castrating the men, killing the babies. How Esau was buck breaking the men, not showing favor to little Jake, feeding them the alligators, so on and so forth. That happened then, and that happened in future times.
You got the modern day version of everything. That's what I'm saying. There wasn't no pistols back then, but you called a sword a gun.
Yeah.
You called a gun a sword.
That's right.
You see?
That's right.
These things have to correlate to today's times. It's just like when the prophets was describing things as the best way that they could at the time that they was in. Okay, well, when you come to today, you understand that them locusts was those fighter planes.
Yeah.
You understand that those that army was those missiles coming.
Yeah.
You see?
And that's a beautiful point, because if you look at a locust, that put that image on how those fighter planes, how they're shaped, and they got the wings.
Yeah.
You never think about that. And so,
Scorpions? Yeah, the scorpion. You know what I'm saying? You got the dude in the tail. You shooting.
That's right.
That's the sting of a scorpion tail. That's how the scorpions kill you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
that's right.
You can read it a little more now. We can jump to Obadiah. Okay, jump back to Ezekiel 7.
Okay. Verse 51. And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee.
Yeah, everything that we built as a people, everything that we built, naturally, if you build something, you're supposed to be the first partaker of those fruits. As it's written in 2 Timothy chapter 2, the husbandman that laboreth must be first partaker of those fruits. Okay, but when you go into those curses, it clearly said we ain't gonna be able to partake in those fruits. They're gonna take all that stuff, and that happened in history.
Yeah.
Numerous occasions, and the most recent occasion was 400 plus years ago. Even right now, 400 years ago, right now, because it's still taking place, man. You working so hard, and they still taking all this money out of your taxes, paying all these different bills, all this stuff, man.
Ultimately, the husband is Yahweh blessing your shine. That's
Absolutely.
why first you would give your first fruits in the beginning of the seasons.
Harvest.
That's right. The feast of first fruits. You would give that to the Lord. That's the ultimate husband. And then,
That's right. That's right. The seed offering.
Right.
Yeah, and Pentecost.
Right.
You know. That's still on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pull that up in Obadiah.
This is Obadiah verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
That's right. And an eagle again flies higher than any other bird. So it says, whose habitation is high. Okay? Go ahead.
And that's why we always go into like the architecture of the Edomites. It identifies them because they always like very high architecture.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Boom. Exalt thyself as the eagle. So there's numerous scriptures that go into the eagle. Okay? It's really hard to get away from that.
He said, exalt yourself.
Right.
You exalt yourself as the eagle. I didn't exalt you as no eagle. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the pride comes in. I was checking on his pride. You said you were eagle.
Mm-hmm.
I said you was going to be low level on your belly.
Base, that's right.
In the dust.
That's right.
How the fuck you get way up there?
That dragon, right?
You know? then you up there talking about who gonna bring you down? You gonna see?
That's right, that's right. And it's beautiful because the end of this chapter goes right into that with the elder stated. You know? But that was it on Obadiah. We can jump back to Ezekiel 17. We can read verse 3 again.
Ezekiel 17:3. Thus saith the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings, long wing, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came up unto Lebanon, and took the highest branch of the cedar, and dropped off the top of his young twigs, and carried it into a land of traffic. He set it in a city of merchants.
Yeah, that land of traffic, that word traffic goes into business. Okay, you look at America today, America sits at the chief hegemon seat of traffic, just like ancient Babylon did, just like ancient Assyria did. Okay, you had ancient Assyria that had Nineveh and Megtesh. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact,
and that trade, Ezekiel 28.
There you go.
And 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thy heart is lifted up because of thy riches.
Mm-hmm.
Gone. That's right.
What verse was that?
Ezekiel 28.
And that's going into him going to be the life of the Most High.
And when you go into Ezekiel 28, it's not even talking about Babylon, it's talking about the king of Tyre. But it clearly shows you that it's talking about Esau at the end of the day, man. It's a future prophecy. You know, this is what, 9 chapters prior to what the elders said. And when Ezekiel was living, the king of Tyre and Sidon, they weren't the chief ruler seat.
That's right.
So it was going into something a lot bigger. All right. Now back then, for the ones that actually read Ezekiel's letter, they looked at it like, oh yeah, Babylon. But living today, we're looking at Ezekiel's letter like, oh yeah, Babylon, which we know Babylon to be Esau, man.
That's right.
We know that through Psalms. Matter of fact, if somebody can get it really quick in Psalms 137.
137.
Yeah, Baba the Sharp.
Started 1 though.
Oh, you can go to the key point in regards to Babylon and then how it's split.
137.
It's the last 4. Yeah, 7.
Okay. This is Psalm 137, verse 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom.
So he's saying, remember. But this is King David.
Mm-hmm.
King David was way before what we're reading right now in Ezekiel.
That's right.
But he's saying, remember. Go ahead.
Man, that's heavy, bro.
Yeah, because the Babylonians weren't even in power around the time of King David. It was the Philistines who were in the Philistines were the modern day, the modern day, well, they were Hamites, but they were Canaanites. You know? They were Phoenicians.
Yeah.
You know, so he's clearly talking about something that's going to happen later on.
That's right.
You know? Go ahead. And King David came back as Zephaniah, which we believe, and then he came back as Peter. Not Zephaniah, I'm sorry, I meant to say Zerubbabel. Salakia.
I was about to say something.
Nah, I meant to say Zerubbabel, man. He came back as Zerubbabel through the Spirit, which we believe, and it came back as Peter. And where did Peter prophesy? He was under Yahweh's side, but he prophesied under what? The Roman Empire, man. All right? Who was at that time the modern day Babylonians at that time, man. All right? Spiritually, I should say. You know? And then it's going to go into that, right? In that next verse that you're about to read. And hey, again, I didn't mean to say Zephaniah goes in the camera. I meant to say Zerubbabel, man. Hey, man, my stammering lips.
It be like that sometimes.
It happens.
This is back in Psalms 137, verse 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof.
Yeah, man. So it went from the kingdom of Babylon right after to the children of Edom. Which shows you these people were going to come into the same power. Was not Babylon known as that great eagle?
And say, did not the Most High raise up Esau like he did Pharaoh?
Exactly.
He always linked to that. Always linked to that, man.
That's right.
Even when you go into their package.
Yeah. Exactly.
But Jeremiah 49 links the eagle with Babylon and Edom.
Hey, can you read about this song?
Kind. Let me go to it.
Yeah, man. Because when you go into this, you have to be spiritual. You have to be a spiritual Israelite to understand these scriptures. Okay? It doesn't matter about if you are a Hebrew Israelite. A lot of Israelites are going to die All right, when these prophets were speaking, when Ezekiel was speaking, all right, when Zechariah was speaking, when these prophets were speaking, a lot of Israelites didn't like the message that they were saying. Even when Jeremiah was speaking, they threw him in the pit because they told them the Babylonians were going to come against them.
You can't call himself up.
Right. So you got to understand, you got to be a spiritual Israelite to really understand the entirety of these scriptures and to know that these things actually did take place in history, but it was a bigger picture that was being told.
So that's just like with Joseph. Joseph was telling his family about a dream he had, and they sold his ass. I'm just telling you about my dream.
Right.
And did it not happen?
Right.
You see, they didn't like what he was saying.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just like that. In the book of Amos, you know, Jake was trying to preach to the southern kingdom. They're like, man, go to to the northern kingdom. They was like, man, go to Judah with that, bro. Everybody trying to hear that, bro. You messing up. You messing up money. That's right. That's right. But ultimately, look at Yahweh Shamashiach. It was our people.
Yep, they ain't like what you saying.
It was our people who, you know what I'm saying, the reason, you know, of course it was prophecy, but it was our people who was in agreement. And that's why, like you said, 2/3 of them gonna be destroyed.
That's right. That's right. You got this one?
Con. This is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 16. It says, the terribleness that hath deceived thee and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from hence, saith the Lord. Also, Edom shall be a desolation.
Edom shall be a desolation, man. Mind you, Babylon was taken down by the Persians and the Medes, but guess what? The land of Iraq still stands. All right, so it wasn't in desolation. It wasn't in complete destitute, man. There's people that still inhabit that land. Okay, but Edom shall be destroyed. Now, people are trying to go to and say, well, you go to the land of Edom. We don't go to the land of Edom no more. You know, but the Edomites are still in power right now, ruling in a different land because the niggas have been known in history to go to different people's lands and take it.
That place wasn't destroyed by fire.
Right.
Not dwelt in. People are dwelling there.
Yeah, exactly.
People go visit and people dwell there.
I mean, the landmarks done been removed and all kind of stuff, but still. It's deeper than it. It's bigger.
Exactly.
It's bigger than that. You know? Right. Because when you preach out of envy and strife, of course you're going to say that happened already. But that's what I'm saying. If everything happened already, that's what I'm saying. What's to come?
Right.
The scriptures is telling you about things in the past, things in the present, and things to come.
Right.
Right? So if you're just going to take out all the things to come, look at the book. That's what I'm saying. That's why this book is for the prophets. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm saying. We know stuff in the Old Testament haven't happened yet.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
You see?
These people don't want to go into the woe part, man. When you go into the beginning of Ezekiel, it said there should be a book. You know, when you tell them to eat the roll, he said this book shall be full of lamentation, mourning, and woe. You know, you got lamentation with mourning, and mourning when somebody dies, you're gonna mourn afterward. But then it says woe afterward, which is destruction. So yeah, the mourning took place, but the woe still has to come. So when is it gonna come? These people just want to take away the destruction part and the war part that's supposed to happen. The scriptures talk about destruction happening, war happening, Edomites being destroyed. Not even just Edomites, everybody else, but the Edomites going into captivity, that's part of the scriptures.
2/3 of the nation of Israel being destroyed. It's in the scriptures, man. That haven't happened yet.
Right. Exactly.
That's the problem. Like I said, people have a problem with that woe because a lot of people can't. A lot of people in the spirit feel they can't operate without Esau being in the power seat.
Right.
So that's why, you know, a lot of people like, things can change. No, they can't, bro. They gonna change. Don't get it twisted. They gonna change, but not due to your way of thinking.
Right.
Because your way of thinking, bro, we're gonna be here another 100 years, man.
That's why Isaiah said Israel is a homeborn slave.
Yeah. Like, come on, bro.
That's right. That's right. Come on. Beautiful point.
Wow.
We can jump back to Ezekiel. We can go to read verse 4.
Yeah, I got it. This is Ezekiel 4. It says, or 18:4, it says,
17.
So like Ezekiel 17:4. He cropped off the top of his young twigs and carried it into a land of traffic.
Into a land of traffic, into a land of business. Okay, man, talking about America, because America is known for having what? The World Trade Center. Okay, where they operate business. What else what dwells in America? The IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Okay, that's in America as well. Even when we were kept driven here in history, we were slaves over here. Okay, when we had built those houses, planted those vineyards, all this was a business.
Really, a good word to say.
Okay, so
It's ran out of London.
it's ran out of London. Okay,
It controls America, but it's ran out of London.
Okay, hey, what?
A good word to use is actually trade, because how did we get over here? It was what's called a transatlantic slave trade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even when it talks about the prophecy in Zephaniah, woe ye inhabitants of Maktesh. Maktesh represents today would be what Wall Street.
That's right.
They what? Trade, stocks and bonds.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Everything's a trade. You know what I'm saying? Even within these sports teams, the NFL, the NBA, what they have. Trades. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Commodities, that's all America's about. You know what I'm saying? Traffic.
Yeah. Like the brother that brought out earlier, traffic. What's Esau big on, man? Hit up drug traffic. They the number one. Sex trafficking. Slave trafficking. They hit it.
A lot of stuff happens here. Even those letters that, not those letters, emails Hillary Clinton had. You know, and then you got all these other people that are here in the States, man. A lot of them was trafficking those children. Man.
Yeah, Pizzagate.
All that stuff happens here. Well, the thing about that is that happened to us in slavery. That's what you do.
Yeah, the Catholic Church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll say that's a slave trade.
Yeah,
that's right. Exactly.
And when things ain't going right, what they do with the Catholic priests, they trade them to another parish.
Mm-hmm. You know? That's right. Federal Reserve Bank. You know?
Ideas too, because it's not even just like raw commodities and material that's being traded. They trade ideas. Franchise. What do you got McDonald's in India for? So that shows like this place being evil. You know what I'm saying? That Edomite rulership.
Yeah. Well, now you just see that they legalized homosexuality in India. You know, the influence of the West, the spreading this. You know, there you go.
And that's what wings do ultimately. Wings cover up everything else. You know what I'm saying? So the westernization, those wings covered everywhere, man.
Yep.
And just for edification's sake, I meant to say the Federal Reserve, not the International Monetary Fund. You know? But we can jump back to where we left off at Ezekiel 17.
This is Ezekiel 17:5. It says, "He took also of the seed of the land and planted it in a fruitful field."
When we came over here to America was a tropical oasis. Okay, it was a very fruitful field. Okay, extremely. When the Northern Kingdom came over here, and it was a fruitful field. It was tropical. Remember, you read about it in I believe it's in 1 Kings. I had it written down. Where's that? 1 Kings, the 8th chapter.
Phoenician army.
When Solomon had sent those men down here. Yeah, that navy. Yeah, when Solomon sent the navy down here, they had found those apes and those peacocks. You know what I'm saying? Come. And we don't really have to get it, but it just goes to it was a fruitful field. But also, too, when the Southern Kingdom that came over here, they was already operating off trading, slavery, setting all that stuff up. So when we came over here, it was just a continuation of all that, man. You know, it was a fruitful field. You know? Even that's the reason why a lot of these other nations come over here today, which is really they're deceived when they come over here because they have it set in their minds, we're going to come over here and we're going to flourish, we're going to set up a business, our families are going to flourish, our children are going to go to school, whatever. And they come over here and find out that it's BS, then they end up wanting to go back home. You know? But it just shows you the vision, I should say, the quote-unquote vision America gives off, the delusion America gives off, the golden city. Just like Babylon is known for. You know?
An eagle, he sinks those iron claws and teeth in the people. He devours your spirit and your soul life. He'll take you away from your heritage and basically introduce and force you pretty much to assimilate to his ideals and philosophy. So people come over here with delusion thinking they're going to make profit and do this and that, but it's at the expense of losing their soul in the process.
That's right. You know? That's right. We can jump back to Ezekiel 17.
This is Ezekiel 17, and back to 5, the last part of 5, it says, "He placed it by great waters and set it as a willow tree." And like you were saying, America on either side, you got the Pacific on the western side, and then the Atlantic Ocean in the Gulf. So those are great waters that I'm talking about. You know? It says, verse 6, "And he grew and became a spreading vine of low stature."
You know what I'm saying? The closer a tree is to water, the more plentiful that the tree is gonna be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got talking about how those branches spread out. You know what I'm saying? That water being by that tree being by the water is being hella nourished. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It says, and it grew, verse 6, and it grew and became a spreading vine of low stature, whose branches turned toward him, and the roots thereof were under him.
That's right. It says it became a spreading vine of low stature. Like the elder stated, if you buy water, you're gonna spread. But it was in low stature. Why? When we came over here to slavery, we reproduced. Okay, and these devils use us for their businesses. They use us to sell their death. Okay, and you still see it today.
That's right.
We was in the plantations picking cotton. All right, picking up hemp plants, doing all this, that, and the third, man.
Tobacco.
All that. They used us to promote their business.
Yeah.
So we was a spreading vine because we was known by the way we were able to reproduce. Remember, the reason why Pharaoh had wanted us to go into slavery around the time of when you go into the time of ancient Egypt was because of the way we reproduce. It was like these people are reproducing like crazy, man. We got to do something before they take us over. You know, so he used the fact that we was able to reproduce so much, and we ended up building up their kingdom by that. Okay, so we was a spreading vine, but it was of a low stature. Okay, and I also I wanted to pull this up here. I had a precept here.
If I can say that.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like what went through the spirit how while y'all was shouting. The Most High put the spirit on Abba Bivens, Father Bivens, and other men of the Lord to wake up, and Yashara started waking up. What did Esau start doing? CIA, COINTELPRO. They started breaking, they started devouring Jake as they could, man.
Right.
Putting false allegations, putting Jake under investigation. Then who was that? Reagan, who came in office.
He was fooling.
Yeah, he was fooling the Rockefeller drug laws.
Reaganomics.
Yeah, Reaganomics, and what's that? Nicaragua. Had running the drug trade. Contraband, running the drug trade, infiltrating the hoods where Jake was at with drugs. And John Kerry backed it up. He was like, the drugs that's running rampant in predominantly black neighborhoods, the CIA has something to do with it. So Esau has admitted to this, but more so, the scriptures already let you know that what Esau's capable of and what he was going to do.
That's right. And when you go into those boughs and those branches, okay, those boughs are synonymous for the sons, and the branches are synonymous for the daughters. Okay, well, children at the end of the day. Boughs and branches pretty much just goes into the children. Okay, and we're going to pull that precept up in Genesis 49, just to edify them.
Genesis 49:22. Joseph is a fruitful bow, even a fruitful bow by a well.
That's right, even a fruitful bow by a well. Okay, it was a well, spring of water. So you need water in order to flourish. And Joseph was known for his wisdom and dreams, he was able to interpret things. But again, it calls him a fruitful bow. Mind you, he had two children, right? Ephraim and Manasseh. It was Ephraim, fruitful. So Joseph was a fruitful bow. And when you go into that word bow, in Genesis 49:22, that word is pronounced vine. Which means the son.
That's right.
Okay? So when you read it here in Ezekiel, the 17th chapter, the 6th verse, where it says, and it became a vine and brought forth branches and shot forth sprigs, that just pretty much goes into the beginning of verse 6 where it says it grew and became a spreading vine of low stature. Okay? Fruitful. Even look at Israel today, especially the northern kingdom, they hella fruitful, man. And that's
took down though too.
You said what?
They got brought low, they got took down, they got conquered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got conquered, man.
Such a great and rich and fruitful people the Lord allowed to be taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's right. They were the first ones conquered in this land, in this area. And then we came afterward. That's right. That's right. And we can jump back to Ezekiel 17.
Yeah, this is Ezekiel 17:6, or 17:7. There was also another great eagle with great wings and many feathers, and behold, this vine did bend her roots towards him.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is the same eagle. You know what I'm saying? When you go in further, it goes into Babylon and Egypt. Okay, these two eagles. But at the end of the day, those two eagles still go back to this devil that's ruling over us, man.
That's right.
As we brought up earlier, you got Babylon, then you had Egypt, and synonymous for the places we were in slavery. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, she shot forth her branches towards him, that he might water it by the furrows of her plantation.
Who verse you on?
7.
7? Okay.
Verse 8. It was planted in a good soil by great waters, that it might bring forth branches, and that it might bear fruit, that it might be a goodly vine.
Now I want to bring out a point in verse 7. And the end of it pretty much where it says, I'm going to read that part again. It says, the vine did bend her roots toward him and shot with her branches toward him, that he might water it by the furrows of the plantation. At the end of the day, that goes to us being in hunger and thirst and nakedness. You know what I'm saying? We was in hunger and thirst and nakedness. Okay? Even when you go into it in Judges, it talks about how we rehearse the righteous acts by places of drawing waters. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to us being slaves. When we were slaves, again, earlier, we were planting fields, we were sowing, but we weren't able to reap the benefits of it. You know, we were doing all this work to benefit our oppressors. Okay? You can jump back to verse 8. I wanted to bring that point up.
Ezekiel 17 and 8. It was planted in a good soil by great waters, that it might bring forth branches, and that it might bear fruit.
That good soil again, America. That tropical oasis when we came over here. All right, it was known as good soil. Mind you, it's a reason why when the Edomites came over here, they didn't want to go back. All right, we understand that they came over here knowing the Northern Kingdom was going to be here, but they dwelt and settled here, man. Mind you, when the Northern Kingdom came here to the land of Arsareth, which you read about it in 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, you know, it pretty much went into how they were going to go to this land, to follow the laws and commandments of the Lord, all right, which shows that people have already been to this land before. And when Solomon brought that navy over here, Solomon didn't technically come here, but when that navy was over here, they brought back fruitful things.
That's how the northern tribe knew how to get here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? After the kingdom of Solomon split, you know what I'm saying? You got the Assyrians, they had the northern kingdom, they went with the Assyrians, and the southern kingdom went to Babylon. But that's what I'm saying. When you read the 2nd Ezra, and what's that, chapter 13, it goes into how they took that same route. They took them a year and a half to get over there.
6 months took maybe Solomon, maybe 3.
Yep, because it was a year and a half to get there and a year and a half to get back.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And they took that route to get over.
Exactly. Beautiful points, brothers. You know, when Solomon had came over here, again, the things he gathered, bro, he gathered precious stones, he gathered apes, he gathered peacocks, all of those things, man. So he didn't just come over here for no reason. He gathered things from over here that he couldn't find over there. You know?
Right, so doing this stuff.
Right.
Oh, that's just like how you can't get frankincense over here.
Right. Exactly. But that's a beautiful point. That's a beautiful point.
You send people to go get stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's like how preacher prophecies talk about how the nation's gonna be bringing all their stuff to us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna have to go get shit.
Right.
They're gonna bring it.
Right.
You see?
That's right.
They gonna handle something in the kingdom of heaven, man.
Hey, remember when Solomon was doing these things, man? You know, you had King Hiram, who was king of Tyre, which were the Phoenicians. You know, they were in league. It was actually a covenant that they had with one another, man.
Hey, that's what he said.
That's what he said. Exactly.
Yeah, because he was an admirer of King David.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
They're doing deals probably for years, you know.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. We can continue.
This is back in Ezekiel 17 and 9. It says, "Say thou, thus saith the Lord power, shall it prosper? Shall he not pull up the roots thereof and cut off the fruit thereof?"
And when you go into that, it also means pretty much to say, is the Lord, are we going to be destroyed? That's what it's pretty much saying. And just for edification's sake, you know, we can go to Baruch, the 4th chapter, the 6th verse. And also the Song of Azariah, 3 Holy Children, the 5th verse. And then jump to the 10th verse.
4th chapter.
Yeah, Baruch 4 and 6. And then I know we're going to quite a bit of precepts. Malachi 1 and 1 as well. Matter of fact, that's the first one that I want to pull up. Malachi 1 and 1. Ready, bro? Yeah.
I'll give one Malachi.
This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 1. It says, "The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?"
Yeah, wherein hast thou loved us? You know what I'm saying? Mind you, again, Israel was through at a point in time. When you look at the condition of Israel, you're like, man, This is the Lord's people? And Jake was asking the questions like, man, where's the lovers? Because Malachi knew what it was. But at the end of the day, you look at the condition of Jake, and you see how Jake lives their lives in the ghettos, and the barrios, and the reservations, how they treat themselves, how they treat their children, their bodies. You look at it like, shoot, hey, this is the Lord's people? You know? But the Lord did this for a reason to us.
That's why when those scoffers on the highways, scoffers on the highways and byways, like that Edomite last night at camp, like, you guys are hilarious. You know, we made a spectacle. You know what I'm saying? They mocking you how about Shimmy Ashad. You know.
You can start at verse 5 and 3 on the children. And then you can jump to verse 10.
So, the children, verse 5. In all things that thou hast brought upon us, and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, has executed true judgment, for according to truth, this judgment did thou bring all these things upon us because of our sin.
That's right. So the Lord didn't do this to us because he hated us. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, he did it to us because he loved us. Because he did it to the prophets.
He's a man of his word.
That's right.
He's a man of his word. He says, if you obey, if you take heed to these commandments, you're going to be on top. And if you don't, you're going to be punished.
Exactly. That's right. That's right.
Yep.
And you can jump to verse 10. And you go to verse 12.
Verse 10, so now, and now we cannot open our mouths. We are become as a shame and reproach to thy servants and to them that worship you. Yet deliver us not up wholly with me for thy name's sake, neither disannul thou thy covenant.
Yeah, man. So he ain't gonna get rid of his covenant or get rid of. He kept the promise was for his name's sake, but also for his name's sake, like the elder stated, we was gonna have to be put in this situation because we moved him to anger. You know, so
he said, nah, that's all right. That would have made him go back on the word.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I told y'all I was gonna get it, y'all tell.
Exactly.
So y'all tell is getting got it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So of course he's not gonna dig up, because the thing of it is, when you got a tree, you dig up the root. That means the whole tree is gonna be taken away. All right. The scriptures talk about that noble vine that's to come. All right. Talks about how that cedar tree is gonna be good again. Certain branches were destroyed. You know, certain was destroyed, but hey, they're grafted back in. But if you take the roots away from a tree, the tree is not gonna be able to live no more. It has to be thrown into the fire.
The roots is their remnant, man.
That's right.
I'm saying, you can chop a tree down, but it can grow back. You don't pull it up by the root.
That's right.
So that remnant is the root.
Mm-hmm. And it's the spiritual that this brother brought up the example of the movie once. You know, and looking at it, that movie, I mean, I don't know what the name means, but you look at it like, hey man, we roots. You know? Go ahead, brother.
Right, verse 12. And cause not thy mercy to depart from us for thy beloved Abraham's sake, and for thy servant Isaac's sake, and for thy holy Israel's sake.
So the Lord did these things to us because he moved us to anger. He promised he was not going to take us and uproot us at all, period, man. We was going to be through, but he wasn't going to destroy us as a nation. So Ezekiel technically asked that question when he had made that statement. Okay? It says, shall he not pull up the root thereof? Shall he not pull up the root thereof? All right? He ain't going to destroy it. He ain't going to pull the root thereof, man. That was a question. All right? We could jump back to Ezekiel 17.
What was that last scripture that you read?
Song of three older children, basically 5, 10, and 12.
Just trying to describe. Yeah. We're reading Ezekiel. We're going to Ezekiel and we're right now. We're on verse. We're reading 9. Got to read verse 9.
Ezekiel 17.
17 and 9.
17.
I got you. This is back in his slide. Yeah, Ezekiel 17 and 9. It says, say thou, thus saith the Lord, how shall it prosper? Shall ye not pull up the roots thereof and cut off the fruit thereof, that it wither? It shall wither, and all the leaves of her spring, even without great power, or many people to pluck it up by the roots thereof. Yea, behold.
Ultimately, the root too is Yahweh Chap.
That's right.
And through him, we good.
That's right. That's right.
With the branches that's going to be grafted back on. Ultimately, the root is what gives the tree its life. That's Yahweh Chap.
That's right. And this account, when we read about it, it actually did physically happen back then, man. When you go into the history, and when you go into what Ezekiel's prophesying about, we're going to get into it further, which we know is a future prophecy as well. But you had those kings, those higher ups in Israel that was casted down, man. All right, you had King Jeconiah, and then right afterward you had Zedekiah that ruled it, and they was taken away. These were the nobles out of Israel that was casted down. They were the soul. If you destroy the head, the rest of the body's gonna fall, and that's what they did. They took away the head of Israel, and the rest of the body fell afterwards. Okay,
Jews will sell out to you.
that's exactly.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, they were.
But they were through that royal line.
Right.
Of kings.
That's right. We're gonna get into that later on in this chapter. You know, about the show.
Verse 10. Yea, behold, being planted shall it prosper, shall it not utterly wither? When the east wind toucheth it, it shall wither in the furrows where it grew. Verse 11. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying,
When it goes into that, we were thrown into captivity, we weren't destroyed. Our rulership and our kingdom was taken away completely. Okay? But as a nation of people, we were not destroyed. Okay? I had to put that out there. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, say now to the rebellious house, know ye not what these things mean? Tell them, behold, the king of Babylon is come to Jerusalem.
Now, this is actually going into actual history that had taken place. But you look at it still, it's a continuation of that today. But now this is going to actually go into the history of what had happened in ancient Babylon. Okay? Read that again, starting the top of the show.
Ezekiel 17 and 12. Say now to the rebellious house, know ye not what these things mean? Tell them, behold, the king of Babylon is come to Jerusalem, and hath taken the king thereof, and the princes thereof, and led them with him to Babylon.
So when you go into that, that was when Nebuchadnezzar had actually went to Jerusalem. Okay? Now this isn't the time where he burned it with fire yet. Okay? But he had stripped Jeconiah, because Jeconiah was the king of the house of David around that time. And he had stripped Jeconiah of his power, and also his nobles that were under him. Okay, and carried away actually into captives. Okay, so they were exiled after the land out of the land of Jerusalem. Okay, but Jerusalem was still a land at this time. Okay, the temple was still there, but Jeconiah the king and the nobles and the princes under him were taken away. And ultimately, why was this done? The reason why this was done, so Jake wouldn't buck up against Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, they figure if Jeconiah was king and still had the princes, they could still be able to buck up against Babylon. Okay? And that's why you look at these devils today, that's why they beat us and maimed us the way that they did. Alright, they beat slavery into us, so we wouldn't buck up to this day.
That's right.
Okay? But ultimately, that's why they did. When the king went to a land, and he had took those kings and princes away from that land, that was pretty much to shame them.
That's right.
So they were like, no, we can't come against these people, man. Alright, they took our power source away. You know? Ultimately, we know our power source is the Lord. But Jake was vain around this time. Alright, so Jake looked at it and it was like, man, they took our king and our princes away. What else can we do? We have to serve one of these guys. Which ultimately, that was what Jeremiah the prophet was telling them anyway. Okay, you're going to have to be a subject unto the king of Babylon. So they threw him in a pit for it. You know, but it still happened at the end of the day. Okay?
And like I said, it's coming through history's time. You can look at it, man. It's been, if I'm not mistaken, 250 slave revolts, and Jake is still in captivity. So it's just not time. It's just not time for us to be, you know what I'm saying, to be in position to rule yet until you have a Shah Mashiach, returns.
That's right.
And the Lord is going to set, you know what I'm saying, those crowns, you know what I'm saying, on 144,000.
That's right.
And first and foremost, you have a Shah Mashiach return.
That's right. Because just Jeconiah was the physical loins of David.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He actually was of the loins of David, but the scriptures talk about after Solomon, the next one that was going to sit on that throne was going to rule the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
And did Jeconiah do that? No, he was. When you read it, he transgressed against the Lord, man. When you read about it, it says he did evil in the sight of the Lord. Okay? Right, King David.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because those kings after that, it was the last one, I believe. It was one after Zedekiah. But pretty much the Lord said, no more you should sit on the throne of David.
Right.
You know, I forget where it's written, but the one who's going to come sit on the throne of David to rule forever is going to be Yahushua.
That's right. That's right. Come on.
I got that 2 Samuel, no, 2 Kings. Oh, so
2 Kings 24:12.
2 Kings 24:12. It says, and Jeconiah, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
That's right. So the king of Babylon, who was the king of Babylon around this time, brothers? It was Nebuchadnezzar. Exactly. It was Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar had taken him out of that land along with his princes. This is actual history that had taken place. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 13. And he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, as the Lord had said.
As the Lord had said. And how did the Lord say it? Who did he speak through? The Lord had spoken to Jeremiah. Jeremiah told him that these things was going to take place. He told Israel. Okay, and these guys didn't want to hear what Jeremiah was talking about, so what did they do? They threw him in a pit. All right? These guys were ultimately sellouts. They misused his prophets. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So we can jump back to Kings. Not Kings, I'm sorry, Ezekiel.
Yeah, Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel. Ezekiel.
I'm here.
Ezekiel 17 and 13 it says, and had taken of the king's seed and made a covenant with him, and had taken an oath of him. He had also taken the mighty of the land, that the kingdom over there.
Read that again.
Yo, sure. Ezekiel 17 and 13. And had taken of the king's seed and made a covenant with him, and had taken an oath of him. He had also taken the mighty of the land.
Now, when you go into this account, because mind you, Jeconiah was taken from Babylon. He was taken from Jerusalem. Okay? He was taken, and all of his princes was taken away. So Israel was left bare with no ruling class, with no governing body.
Right.
Okay, so what had taken place? Okay, he had raised up Mattaniah, who actually was Zedekiah. Okay,
Right.
and Zedekiah made that oath. Zedekiah made an oath with Nebuchadnezzar. And the crazy thing is, he did not only make an oath with Nebuchadnezzar, but he made an oath in the name of Yahweh. Two of Nebuchadnezzar. All right, that's crazy, right? Matter of fact, can somebody pull up James chapter 5, verse 12 over show?
James 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. God, because he made an oath. All right. Which necessarily he wasn't supposed to do this. All right, but it had happened the way it did. It was part of the algorithm of Yahweh.
James chapter 5 and 12. But above all things, my brethren, swear not, neither by heaven, neither by earth, neither by any oath, but let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. All right, lest ye fall into condemnation.
Lest ye fall into condemnation. Okay, so Zedekiah made an oath with Nebuchadnezzar in the name of the Lord, man. And we're gonna pull this up here in a second. But that's what Zedekiah did, man. All right. Go ahead. We can continue with Ezekiel. Yeah.
What was the last scripture we just read?
James 5 and 12.
I just been trying to describe.
No, it's all good, bro.
Okay, this is Ezekiel 17 and 14. It says that the kingdom might be base, that it might not lift itself up, but that by keeping of his covenant.
You see? It clearly said that the kingdom might be base. So Nebuchadnezzar took out Jeconiah and all his nobles, and he had set up his own king in Israel. And the thing is, even Zedekiah was of that lineage. All right, Zedekiah was actually a relative. He was a relative to Jeconiah. When you read about it in the history, it says within their brethren, but really he was his uncle. You know what I'm saying? He was his uncle, but they were still both of them were of the seed of David. You know, but it says that they may be base, meaning Nebuchadnezzar set a king up for himself in Israel and set rulers up himself in Israel. That way, they were not going to rebel against him.
Right.
You know.
That's what Egypt set up some, and Babylon set up some.
That's right. That's right.
Man, I see even during the time of Yahweh, Caiaphas was in that position.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Set up just so he can, you know what I'm saying?
One of them had a name, and the king put Yahweh in his name. I forget it's one of those things. One of these we read about. The king changed his name to say Yahweh has raised him up. It was actually that damn Egyptian or Babylonian. Well,
I know, right? Yeah, we can jump back to what we left off at.
This is Ezekiel 17 and 15. It says, "When he rebelled against him in sending his ambassadors into Egypt, that they might give him horses and much people."
Okay, so what does Zedekiah do? He rebelled. So not only did he rebel, but he had went against that oath that he had made with Nebuchadnezzar. And then, mind you, he took this oath in the name of the Lord. Okay, so screw Nebuchadnezzar, but he put the Lord's name involved in this oath. So he had went away from it, man. And what did he do? He went to the king of Egypt. All right, somebody pull up Isaiah chapter 31.
Yep.
You can either or 30 or 31. It don't matter.
Yep.
Somebody go to that one. Okay, because he went to Egypt for help. And then what did he do? He went to get horses from Egypt. So somebody pull up that Isaiah 30 and 31. The brother's got an Isaiah 30. You might pull up your 31 too.
Exactly. Let's start at the top.
You can start at the top. And also, if the brother can pull it up, then I'm going to put it down. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 17, start at verse 15. And also, I'm going to brother pull up 2 Chronicles chapter 36, starting at verse 9. All right. Now the first one that I want to pull up is the first one that I asked for in Isaiah. Whoever has it. Okay.
Isaiah 30 and 1 says, "Woe to the rebellious children," says Yahweh.
Now, mind you, Isaiah is talking about Israel, but this is during the Assyrian Empire, but he's talking about in generalities. All right, he's talking about in general. You know, don't do this. Go ahead.
It says, "That take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin."
That's right. That's right. Not wanting to take them, you know, not wanting to follow the Lord, but to rather take a covenant with the heathen. Okay, go ahead.
It says, "That walk to go down."
And I want to say there's not only a covenant with the heathen, because David and Hiram had a covenant with one another, but Hiram acknowledged David being a servant of the Heavenly Father. And David was empowered. Right. Okay? But this covenant right here, this was a heathen rulership that was empowered, and this covenant was pretty much like, turn away from the Lord, you're going to follow me. Okay? And that's what happened. That's what Zedekiah did with Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, mind you, when you read about Zedekiah, it said he did evil in the sight of the Lord, along with Jeconiah. Okay?
So now, man.
He sold out, like the elder stated, or like you stated.
Yeah,
You know, sold out.
I mean, to the point, he was in power, so he just making business deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's right.
When you covenant with Hiram.
That's right. That's right.
"That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not answered my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh."
Yeah, man, he didn't ask for the Lord's permission to do it. He just did it because he was like, dang, I already made a covenant. So he did the exact opposite. He made a covenant with Nebuchadnezzar in the name of the Lord. And then afterward went to Egypt right after he broke his covenant, said, nah, we're going to go to Egypt right afterward. You know, so jump to Isaiah the 31st chapter starting.
Isaiah 31 and 1. "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots."
And stay on horses and trust in chariots. Read that again, Ezekiel 17. Oh, man, you're right. I'll read it. This is
I got it. Ezekiel 17 and 16.
15.
So like 15, it says, "But he rebelled against him in sending his ambassadors into Egypt, that they might give him horses and much people."
Read that again in Isaiah 31. And then pull up Deuteronomy 17. Hold on, guys.
I got it.
"Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many."
Mm-hmm, that's right. Yeah, they went over there because they're like, Egypt has many horses and many chariots. Egypt was known for that. You know, even Solomon did that. When Solomon was building up his house with the horses and chariots, he went over to Egypt to do that. You know, and that's actually, I got it written down here. That's actually in 1 Kings chapter 10, verse 28. If a brother wants to pull it up afterward, it's cool, just for edification's sake. But that's cool on that in Isaiah 31. Pull that up in Deuteronomy 17. In the law.
Deuteronomy 17, what verse?
Chapter 17, you can start at verse 15. It's 15 and 16.
This Hebrew hopscotch on fire, boy. Woo! Whole roll, baby. Whole roll, man. That's what I'm saying. Just to make that point, man, you have to understand the totality of this book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it already happened, okay, so what do you get from it? Like Reverend Yashua always say, man, you have to draw the spiritual aspect out of every word in this book, man. Right. Without that, you're going to lose.
That's right.
This is
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 15. It says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, who Yahweh thy power shall choose, one from among the brethren."
Okay, so mind you, did any of the brethren choose Zedekiah to be a king? Nah. Nebuchadnezzar did. Nebuchadnezzar. That already was transgression. Yep, absolutely.
And
he did.
And Jeremiah was his counselor, right?
Zedekiah, yes, he had one of those.
Yeah, he was the one that went over there. That's right. That's right. Even though I think Jehoiakim too.
I think Zedekiah was Jehoiakim's uncle.
It was okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think the grid.
Got you. Okay. I got that mixed up. Man. So Jeconiah and Zedekiah were brethren then. And Jehoiakim, that's what it was. That's what it was. God. But ultimately, these guys were not set up by the brethren. You know, it wasn't with the council to be king. It wasn't brought down and anointed. Right. You know, they wouldn't pour in the oil, the water, and all that.
Yeah, yes,
right.
Yeah, Jeconiah was his uncle.
Oh, Jeconiah?
Yeah.
Zedekiah was Jeconiah's uncle.
Yeah, because it said King Salaki, it says Zedekiah had been installed as the king of Judah by Nebuchadnezzar II, king of Babylon, after a siege of Jerusalem in 597 BC to succeed his nephew Jeconiah,
right,
who was overthrown as king after the reign only 3 months and 10 days.
Now, when you read about it, it says they were brethren in the scriptures, but they were brethren. They were almost on the same line. Exactly. They were fellow brethren.
Yeah. So that was that's saying that Jeconiah was his nephew. Right?
Right. It's kind of like how Abraham and Lot. You could call them just brethren, but same uncle and nephew.
Yeah, exactly.
Kindred.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a little bit more on that.
Oh, absolutely. I know. You're right. Yeah, verse 16 is the key point.
Alright, I'm going to start at verse 15 again. It says, "Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom Yahweh thy power shall choose, one from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee.
Okay.
Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother." Verse 16.
There we go.
It says,
mind you, remember, Zedekiah went to Egypt, and we read about saying, woe unto them that go to Egypt for help, and get horses and carriages and all this, that, and third. And that's exactly what Zedekiah did, right? So keep going in Deuteronomy.
Verse 16, it says, "But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses."
That's right, man. So the Lord, clearly what Zedekiah just did, what we read about, the Lord said don't do it. That's part of the law. So again, Zedekiah did evil in the sight of the Lord. And he didn't trust in the Lord. He trusted in men. He did all this for himself. Okay, he wasn't thinking about the people that was under him. He didn't think about his actions and how he had already made a covenant with Nebuchadnezzar.
They're doing the same thing that those scribes and Pharisees.
Exactly.
They were trying to keep that little agreement they had going and just get by.
Right. Absolutely. And
you a seat
and you a king and you got people under you. And you weren't thinking about the state your people was going to be in after going against the covenant that you made with them. Yeah. Mind you, it ain't like a covenant. It wasn't made. He made a covenant with him. A covenant is an agreement. It's a friendship. It's a bond. It's an oath. It's an oath. A contract. Okay, so in order for a covenant to be made, you have to be a partaker in it and be in agreement to it. You swear into it.
Oath is
right.
Basically, man.
Right. That's right. He didn't go to Zedekiah and force him to do it. Which Nebuchadnezzar was a forceful guy, but it says it was a covenant. So we understand the covenant to be an agreement. So that's it on that.
And that king who
a little more.
That king
hold on.
That king who the ruler never changed his name was Eliakim was his name at first, and then his name was changed to Yahweh. Right. So. Because it's Allah, Kayam, which Kayam Right.
Right.
So first it was the power raised up, and the ruler at the time raised, Yahweh raised up.
The Babylonians always change names like they did with Daniel. The other Nebuchadnezzar, he changed Daniel's name.
Right.
Yeah, but that's funny. They put the Lord in. It was them that did it. Actually.
Man, forcing the course of the river like that.
Yeah, man. I'll say that ain't that. I'll say that's something that you got to do under the sun. Change somebody's name.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'll say Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had different names. That ain't nothing. That ain't no different. Change it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When they say your name gonna be Toby from now.
Yeah. Yep.
You know?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah,
So I guess that was just for that time.
right. Exactly.
Yeah. I guess that was just. I'll say so. My government name is Michael.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Back then it would have been Michael Allah.
Mm-hmm.
You see?
Right.
So that name changed. It's still the same name, but it's changed because of that's what I'm saying. They changed it.
Right.
You can't just change somebody's name, especially if they don't consent. You know what I'm saying? You just gonna change my shit?
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, for as much as Yahweh hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way.
Come.
And pull up 1 Kings chapter
10 verse 28. I got you now. This is 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 28. And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt and linen yarn. The king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price.
That's just a key point, the linen yarn. Horses in Egypt were like synonymous for one another, man. Mind you, when Pharaoh's army was taken down in the ancient world, we crossed the Red Sea, man, it was horses and carriages that was swallowed up in the water, man. You know what I'm saying? So Egypt was known for their vast amount of horses and carriages, man. Solomon went to Egypt to get horses, man. So these people went to Egypt. Of course, there was multiple reasons, but Egypt and horses and carriages were synonymous to one another, man. Just like Tyre and Sidon was known for their wood. When Solomon had made that agreement with Hiram, he said, "Look, you gonna send me a bunch of this wood so I can build this temple, and in return, you're gonna receive wheat." Okay. So different kingdoms, different areas were known for the different fruit that they had. So Egypt, one of the main things that it was known for was those horses and those carriages. Okay.
That's why the Moabites and the Edomites are sucking Africa dry, man, because they got those natural resources.
Mm-hmm.
They got hella resources. They got oil, lithium,
right.
Gold and whatnot, everything. So they got so many natural resources. Of course you're going to deal with those people. Like the brother was going into earlier in the lesson with traffic. It's business, trade,
right?
Back and forth, what's back.
And what's Egypt synonymous for still? Because we're talking about Egypt, still synonymous for Esau.
Yep.
Babylon and Esau go hand in hand. Okay.
Pharaoh Nico was on them. He was ruling at the time. He was a famous Pharaoh.
Right. God. Absolutely.
Back in Ezekiel?
Back in Ezekiel 15.
Back in Ezekiel 17 and
Verse
15. Read 15.
17 and verse 13.
I call it right.
Okay.
Ezekiel 7.
Verse 17 and 15.
No, I just read 1 Kings chapter 10 verse 29.
Okay, Ezekiel 17 and 15. But he rebelled against them and sending his ambassadors into Egypt that they might give him horses and much people. Shall he prosper?
He went over there. He already broke the covenant. So now since he broke this covenant that he had made in the name of the Lord, shall he prosper? Go ahead.
It says, shall he escape that doeth such things?
Shall he escape? You already made a covenant. Are you going to escape? Go ahead.
Or shall he break the covenant and be delivered?
Here's a rhetorical question. How you going to break the covenant and be delivered? They don't go hand in hand with one another. If you break the covenant, you're going to have to pay for the covenant that you broke. We had to pay for our covenant we broke. And then the second covenant had to be instituted. And best belief is we broke the covenant, well, we was destroyed, man. For lack of knowledge.
That's right.
For not implementing. That's right. And this is what this is going into still, man. Because best believe it's talking about Zedekiah, but still it's talking about Israel, man. Israel broke the covenant, man. At the end of the day. So a new covenant had to be established, man. But you see Israel in the state that they're in right now because of the covenant that was broken.
You in a bad case. You break a contract. Your name is shit in the streets. That's why when you break making a contract with an apartment, your credit's jacked up for the next 7 years. Around 7 years. So no, nigga, you can't move here. No, you like the balance. You like to move in and dip out. You can't do that. You gotta keep the contract.
That's right. That's right, brother.
This is the last part of verse 15. It says, or shall he break the covenant and shall be delivered? Verse 16, it says, as I live, said the Lord power, surely in the place where the king dwelleth, that made him king, whose oath he despised.
Oath he despised, man. All right? He was made king by Nebuchadnezzar. He despised the oath. Go ahead. And Israel at the end of the day despised the oath.
He said, I'm going to get to be king of Israel.
Yep. Hey.
Go, you got it.
Brothers, y'all can see what he did there. He put his hand out, right? Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
It says, whose oath he despised and whose covenant he break, even with him in the midst of Babylon he shall die.
He shall die. Okay, and what actually happened? What actually happened with him, man? All right, matter of fact, Jeremiah 52, start from the top.
Jeremiah 52.
Right here.
Because when Ezekiel and Jeremiah was prophesying, they were contemporaries. So Jeremiah started a little earlier than Ezekiel did, and Jeremiah really lived longer than Ezekiel did. Well, he prophesied longer. You know, they were technically prophesying at the same time still. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff you find in Ezekiel and Jeremiah, they speak the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they was prophesying around the same time.
Especially all the time Babylon.
Exactly.
Jeremiah 52.
Hold on, Kadar, can you pull it up?
Oh, Jeremiah.
Yeah, 52.
52?
Yeah.
All right, start at the top. Okay, this is Jeremiah 52. Zedekiah was 120 years old when he began to reign.
He was a young man. Okay.
And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Hamatal, the daughter of Jeremiah Libnah. And he did that which was evil in the eyes of Yahweh.
This is an example of him doing evil in the eyes of the Lord. We're reading about it. Okay. Go ahead.
According to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of Yahweh it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah till he had cast them out from his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
That's right, rebelled against the king of Babylon, man. And what did Nebuchadnezzar do when he had taken away Zechariah and Zedekiah? You know, he not only took them away, but he took the princes and all that away. When Nebuchadnezzar had came, man, he led us into Babylon. He stripped us away from our power source, man. I'm going to read this precept really quick here in Isaiah chapter 3. It's Isaiah chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, the Lord of hosts doeth take away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay and the chaff, the whole stay of bread, the stay of water, the mighty man, and the man of war, the judge and the prophet, and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50, and the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. You know, so these things were taken away from us through captivity. And those keys that was made were those.
What you about to say? I was going to say to the younger brothers, what was the main thing that the Babylonians did to take away our power?
Took us from our land.
What's the main thing they did?
They made us worship idols.
Yeah. So what did they do? What was one of the main things the Babylonians did when they came? It's basic history.
And you know, that's fine.
What King David said, they said, race it, who destroyed the temple.
There you go.
They destroyed the temple.
That's right.
So that's the way to sacrifice. They took away the devil, just like Antiochus did.
Another link.
So that's why it was important, like he was going into Zechariah earlier, him and Zerubbabel, they got orders to be able to rebuild it during the time of the Persian Empire.
Exactly.
They were exiles from Babylon.
You know? And even going to the future with Yahushua is rebuilding the temple. We're partakers in that. So that's that link bringing us back to the graces with the Lord. Being able to sacrifice, the only difference is we're that sacrifice. Yahushua was the ultimate sacrifice. That's right. You know? But we're making ourselves as a living sacrifice pursuant to the scriptures. You know?
Yeah, because like even when Zerubbabel got the order through Darius to rebuild the temple, who was with him? Joshua. Where's Joshua's name? Yahusha.
Exactly.
And he was the priest. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
This is back in Jeremiah 52, verse 4. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Right, go ahead.
Verse 6. And in the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was sore in the city, so that there was no bread for the people of the land.
That's right. That's right. Verse was in Isaiah the 3rd chapter talking about that.
Verse 7. Then the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled, and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the gate between the two walls.
All right, so this actually happened. This is actual history. All right, so just like our men of war fled and all that, they didn't come back. We didn't have no army established afterward or anything. Even in the Persian Empire, we didn't have no army or nothing. Now, the Grecian Empire, you had certain mighty men that came back in that spirit, but that didn't last too much longer because the Romans came and took that down. So we're not made naked because we have the Holy Spirit on us. But when you look at the whole nation of Israel within a whole, they through, man. They don't have no covering no more, man. So just like we're reading about this stuff taking place, about those kings being destroyed, all right, about us being led captive in Babylon, that carried on to what we're going through right now, being under these Edomites. Okay? Go ahead.
Which was by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were by the city round about.
Chaldeans again. There we go. And who are the modern day Chaldeans?
So-called Jewish people.
What'd you say?
So-called Jewish people.
I mean, technically, the Edomites, the chief. They're the sorcerer. They were the sorcerers of the Babylonians, but technically, the highest house of Edom are those sorcerers. So yeah, absolutely, brother.
Continue reading. Back in Jeremiah.
We're going into Ezekiel 17. Right now, we're bringing up precepts, but we left off on verse 16.
Back in Jeremiah chapter 52, verse 8. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, and overtook Zedekiah in the plains of Jericho.
So that's what we just read about. He broke that covenant. All right, now he was taken. Go ahead.
And all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king and carried him up into the king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath.
Now, mind you, on top of that, when we read about Isaiah, how I should take away the mighty man, should take away the weak, this, that, and third. Technically, that didn't happen with the southern kingdom yet. You know what I'm saying? The northern kingdom was taken down by the Assyrians, but the Babylonians, they were the ones that had taken down the southern kingdom. And we're reading about that account. These are the last few kings that were ruling in Judah. And afterward, we were completely through, destitute. Okay?
And all of his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king and carried him up unto the king of Babylon to Riblah in the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. Verse 10. And the king of Babylon slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes. He slew also all the princes of Judah in Riblah.
That's right.
Verse 11. Then he put out the eyes of Zedekiah.
Bro, Zedekiah dealt with, boy. He broke a covenant.
He did. That's what he said. You should not be.
Ye shall die. Now he didn't die right there, but he was through. He died later on. He got tortured. He got tortured. Yeah. And he died in Babylon, being a slave and nothing else. He died, man. But ultimately, of course, Nebuchadnezzar did this, but he rebelled against the Lord. You know, he made that covenant with Nebuchadnezzar in the name of the Lord. Okay? Mind you, it's twofold because Jeremiah technically said you're going to have to serve these guys. You know, so it's dope how the Lord is. But he actually ended up making a covenant with that guy and broke it and went to Egypt for help, like we read about in Isaiah 31. Took horses, all that stuff. So that was like a stab in the chest. Like, man, you stabbed me in the back. You know?
So that was just kill him fast. He made him a prisoner of
That's
war.
right.
Nebuchadnezzar.
That's right.
Then the dollar, yeah.
Yeah, God. Is there more on that? That should be the last verse.
Okay.
This is like one more.
God.
I'm gonna reread 11.
Mm-hmm.
Then he put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and the king of Babylon bound him in chains and carried him to Babylon and put him in prison to the day of his death.
That's right. That's right. So if you read verse 16 again about that song.
Okay. This is Ezekiel 17 and 16. It says, "As I live, said the Lord power, surely in the place where the king dwelleth, that made him king, whose oath he despised, and whose covenant he brake, even with him. In the midst of Babylon, he shall die."
Yeah, so the covenant he broke even with him. So not only him and his children, the princes, all of them, it was destroyed
In front of him, too.
That's right. His children was destroyed in front of him, man.
They blinded him, throw him in prison.
Man, he got eyes.
The last thing he got to see was his family being destroyed.
That's fucked up. Way to go.
Yeah.
And you the king.
Crazy.
This is happening to the king, man.
Purple
That's
land
right.
falling into the hands of the Most High.
That's right.
Right.
Man, that's everything. That's
Gone.
Okay, so I think you can read about this same account in Jeremiah 39 is going into this.
I'm sure
account.
because we just said they contemporaries, you know. So absolutely. That's a good
Just a
idea.
precept, bring it out.
Bring it out, yeah.
Oh no. It's basically like the same story, like I said. It's just I was just throwing it out.
Yeah, Con. Yeah. Con. They were contemporaries though. You know, so they gonna speak about the same thing, just like Haggai and Zechariah spoke about the same things.
Like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Exactly.
That's synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Want to go back?
Yeah, we can go to verse 17 now.
Kind of Ezekiel 17 and 17. It says, "Neither shall Pharaoh." Is that who you're talking about? Pharaoh Nico was in power during this time? Okay, kind of. It says, Ezekiel 17 and 17. "Neither shall Pharaoh with his mighty army and great company make for him in the war by casting up mounts and building forts to cut off many persons."
Nigga, Pharaoh ain't gonna help you. Pharaoh ain't gonna help you. Egypt ain't gonna help you. You broke the oath.
They gonna break theirs.
Exactly. You broke the oath, you gonna be destroyed. Alright? Go ahead. Again, all this applies to Israel. We ultimately just broke the ultimate oath, man.
Exactly.
So it don't matter. We can't go to Egypt, none of that stuff. We through. We broke the oath, man. The only way back is through your house shot. And the whole nation ain't cleansed by us. Well, ultimately they gonna come back in the kingdom, but the elect is gonna be saved in that first go around. Right.
Just like what's his name? The king? Zedekiah.
Mm-hmm.
We prisoners of war here in Great Babylon today, man.
That's right.
We really kings, because Jake always talking about we came, but we prisoners of war because we break the covenant.
That's right.
We break the oath.
That's right.
And trying to hide amongst the trees ain't gonna help.
Yeah. Just as a footnote, when you go back to Ezekiel 17, it talks about, he cropped up the top of his young twigs and everything. Again, we know that's spiritually talking about America and us. Mm-hmm. But even that physical account, those kings and all that were of that top seat, it was crept off. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, he ain't meant to be there anyway. He ain't supposed to be that king that's going to sit on the throne after David, man. All right, it wasn't meant for Zechariah, it wasn't meant for Jehoiakim, it wasn't meant for Zedekiah. Mm-hmm. That was pertaining to Yahushua. Right. Okay? We can jump back.
This is verse 18. It says, "Seeing he despised the oath."
Hold on, because remember, you got this out elder. That handout, right? Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse 18, it says, "Seeing he despised the oath by breaking the covenant, when lo, he had given him, he had given his hand."
He had given his hand, man. They shook on it. Go to Proverbs 11 and 21. When you go into that, they shook on it.
Egypt breaking out?
No, it goes into Zedekiah. Zedekiah breaks over Babylon to Egypt. Mm-hmm. He went to Egypt for help. Mm-hmm. That he had made that covenant with Nebuchadnezzar and broke it right afterwards.
Nebuchadnezzar had set him up to be king. He was set up by the Most High. Got anointed as king.
Mm-hmm.
Had set Zedekiah up to be king.
Yeah. That's right.
And then he went to, like we read, to Egypt, and he tried to get help from them, like we read in Isaiah 30 and 31.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Proverbs 11 and 21, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Now we know that, we talking about the hand joining hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. We know that as much as Esau and Jake try to shake hands and say they're cool, they ain't gonna go unpunished, but it just goes to hand joining hand, that shake, that covenant. It don't matter. The wicked gonna be punished, but that was just an indicator of that covenant. You know what I'm saying? Shaking of the hand. Not shaking of the hand, but not cursing somebody else. Yeah, not cursing nobody else, but an actual handshake. That agreement with that friendship.
Like, yo.
That's right.
You gonna make it?
That's right. That when you shake somebody's hand, that more so back then in the ancient world, and they really pushed it in the times of Grecians, that signified an oath that was made. That's why every time you make a business deal, we saw in Atlanta Traffic, when a business deal is made, they always shake their hand afterwards to what? Seal it.
Car sales.
Exact car sales, You gonna seal it right afterwards. You ain't gonna shake nobody's hand afterwards and don't buy no car. You gonna be honest, especially used cars, you gonna keep them moving. All right, yeah, you have a good when you're lost. But somebody that actually makes that car sale, you gonna shake their hand with it. Okay, so Zedekiah and Nebuchadnezzar had shook hands with it. So mind you make an agreement with somebody and shake their hand, and then you go to somebody else and say, man, that's tripping. Nah, I want to make an agreement with you actually now. That's gonna make you feel. So you look at the spiritual point, how did the Lord feel? You know what I'm saying? The spiritual point. All this is spiritual at the end of the day.
And this is Israel, because we made a covenant with the heathen, meaning these other nations, man. You break the covenant of the Heavenly Father to take on the covenant of these other nations.
That's right. Come on.
This is back, was there more to that? This is back in Ezekiel 17 and 18. It says, seeing he despised the oath by breaking the covenant, when lo, he had given his hand and had done all these things, he shall not escape. Therefore, thus says the Lord power, as I live, surely mine oath that he hath despised, and my covenant that he hath broken, even it will I recompense upon his own head.
Second Chronicles 36 and 13, bro, for sure.
That's one of my favorites right there.
Yeah, because that whole thing goes in, man. This history is rich, because we're seeing that history play out right here before our eyes still to this day. All right, covenants being made with these devils. Even Jake, these sell-out Jakes are still doing it.
C3s with the niggas who even got on the circumcision making covenants.
Exactly. Second Chronicles chapter 36 on that verse 13. I read it.
Second Chronicles chapter 36 verse 13. It says, and he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar.
This is talking about Zedekiah. Go ahead.
Who had made him swear by the Most High. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning unto Yahweh, power of Israel.
And there we go. He turned against the Lord. Okay? He turned against the Heavenly Father. Zedekiah did. And not even just Zedekiah, but Israel within itself. Okay? Second Chronicles chapter 36, starting at verse 13.
It says, moreover, all the chiefs of the priests and the people transgressed very much.
Also, it wasn't just Zedekiah, it was the chiefs, the people, all that. Because mind you, if the king is doing these actions, the people are going to follow after him.
The officers, everybody. Yep.
Exactly.
It says, after all the abominations of the heathen, and polluted the house of the Lord Yahweh, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. And Yahweh power,
mind you, remember, Nebuchadnezzar had went into the house of the Lord. And all the silver, all the gold, all the different things. This is before it was burned with fire. Okay, so the house of the Lord was completely abominated because heathen stepped into it. Even certain Israelites couldn't go into the house of the Lord. Alright, so he allowed those heathen to go in. Alright, so judgment, something has to be played for that. Something has to happen for that. Okay? Go ahead, Doc.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed. Verse 15. And Yahweh power of their fathers sent to them by his messengers,
Who are the messengers? Who are the messengers?
Younger brothers.
The Amathia. Who are the messengers that it's talking about? Read this verse again.
Gone. And Yahweh power of their fathers sent to them by his messenger.
Read back.
Nah.
Get Luke 1 and 68 or 70. 1 and 70.
Yeah, con, yep. 1 to 70. I'll get it away. I'm trying to walk the dark here right now.
Luke 1 and 70. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
That was the point, right? That was the point. You know, the messengers are the prophets. You know what I'm saying? The reason why the prophets are the messengers, because the prophets are the ones that speak the word of the Lord to the nation of Israel. Okay, Jeremiah and Ezekiel were contemporary prophets around this time that was speaking this message to Israel. That's why you read it earlier in Ezekiel where it says I'm going to make thy head hard against their heads. Okay, Israel didn't want to hear the words of the Lord. All right, because they wanted to do their own thing. All right, but at the end of the day, he was speaking the message of the Lord. That's what the prophets have always done. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
2 Chronicles 16 and 35. And 36. Like it. 2 Chronicles 36 and 16. But they mock the messengers of the Most High and despise his word.
And that's what they did with Jeremiah. All right, when they threw Jeremiah in a pit, they was mocking him. He was in the mire, in the pit clay. All right, he was in prison, and not only with Jeremiah, but they did that to all. They did it to all the prophets, pretty much, man. The prophet killers, and those wicked kings and all that. Those wicked scribes and Pharisees that came later was in the same energy as those wicked kings. That's why when Stephen cursed out those wicked scribes and Pharisees, he said, "You the same ones that killed the prophets before."
He brought up the history and everything.
That's right.
And that's the teeth.
Exactly. Go ahead.
It says, and misused his prophets until the wrath of Yahweh arose against his people, till there was no remedy.
And what happened? Jacob was destroyed. All right, those Babylonians destroyed Jacob. Okay. Go ahead.
Brought to that low statue that we was talking earlier.
That's right.
That vine.
That's right.
What you say, verse 7?
Yeah, that spreading vine of low stature.
Spreading vine of low stature.
And the cool thing about it is, it didn't just stop the Babylonians, because when you read it earlier, especially early in Ezekiel 17, that's really going into Esau. So as we're going into Babylon doing this, those Edomites that carried on that same tradition, they done the same exact thing. Jacob's still rebelling the Lord, right? So the Lord is going to continue to destroy Jacob until they're ultimately destroyed. In the election, the remnant are going to be the only ones that are delivered. And who are the remnant? The prophets and the one that believe the word. Okay?
Verse 17. Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword.
Still happening to this day. Go ahead.
In the house of their sanctuary, and had no compassion upon young men or maid, old men, or him that stooped for age.
I got to bring up Ezekiel chapter 9. We some applications say Ezekiel 9 to it. Just how that's happening right now. That's going to ultimately happen again. You know?
Yeah, you are correct. Is it 9 and 4? This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
That's right. And of course, you know, when that happened, those prophets were protected by the Lord. But it wasn't just a plethora of prophets around that time. Mind you, they were killing the prophets in history. You know, so this is an end-all prophecy of what's happening right now. So what's going to happen. All right?
Wearing out of the saints.
That's right. Go ahead. Yeah.
This is verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, Go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eyes spare, neither have ye pity. Verse 6. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
Yeah, so as we read it, and that's still on 2 Chronicles 36. You know, we're pretty much going into that. Those little children, those maids, all that, ain't no pity that's going to be shown on them because they rebelled against the Lord.
All right. Shall none perish? None shall perish being innocent. All right.
Finish up in Ezekiel.
Let's finish up in Ezekiel.
This is back in Ezekiel 17 and 20. It says, "And I will spread my net upon him, and he shall be taken in my snare, and I will bring him to Babylon."
And that happened with us, man. That still happens, you know, because it went into all the history of us already going into Babylon earlier in the 11th, 12th, and 13th verse. Even before that. So it's saying it again. We don't go to Babylon, okay? Be spread by a net, be taken captive. Absolutely. We read it in Deuteronomy 28 earlier when we first started class. Okay?
That's why Jeremiah wrote those letters to the captives at Babylon.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So this is this is back in verse 20. It says, "And I will bring him to Babylon and will plead with him there for his trespass that he had trespassed against me."
That's right. Lord, how does the Lord plead with Israel?
Through his prophets.
Through his prophets. Exactly. Right. Anybody got that in Luke? 21 and 24.
It says, Luke 21:24, "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations."
Into all nations. Yeah, I was talking about this, so that had to happen still, man. All right. So it was a continuation of ongoing process of what was going to happen. But at the end of the day, when they're in the Roman Empire, you had Israelites still dwell in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
You know, and they knew they were Israelites. But when the Romans came, seized Jerusalem, we got scattered out of that land completely. And that's what Yahushua was talking about. And that goes from where we're at right now in this captivity. That falling away had to happen, and we had to be brought back. Okay? In Babylon. Sown in Babylon. Zerubbabel. Sown in Babylon. Okay.
But the thing is, what's beautiful, we rebuilding the temple again, just like Zerubbabel was commissioned to.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Gone. Go ahead, continue.
It says, "And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles."
That's right.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. What does that mean?
When I don't put it like when the America is off, like
pretty much when we get our kingdom back.
Yeah.
You know, them dwelling in our land.
Right now.
You know, right now. That's right, that restoration. Exactly. A lot of people at first will read that and think that it's talking about the Gentiles, Israelite foreigners. You know, but that's actually talking about the time of the Gentiles being fulfilled. Like the other said right now, us at restoration. Us getting our land back, us coming back to the Lord.
They would have control over the Holy Land until the time.
That's right. That's right. We can jump back to Ezekiel 17.
Ezekiel 17 and 21. It says, all of his fugitives with all his bands shall fall by the sword, and they that remain shall be scattered towards all winds. Awful.
Yeah, it's a lot. Nah, you good. Go ahead.
Nah.
You got it. That's what I was just gonna say. That's what we just read in Luke 21.
I thought you was gonna ask him what it was.
I don't know. The only reason I did because he just read it.
Yeah.
I said, but that's what it's going into when we just read in Luke 21. Okay, so that wasn't just only talking about ancient Babylon. Okay, that's not only what this is talking about. This is mainly talking about a future prophecy. He just used that example of what was going on in that time. We can see, but that energy is still on the planet Earth today of Jacob rebelling against the Lord. You know. Go ahead.
It says, "And ye shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken."
And how is he going to know that the Lord has spoken? Through prophets.
Through the messengers.
Through his messengers. Because the messengers will say these things, and they happen. Just like Jeremiah said, what's going to happen? Jerusalem's going to be burnt with fire, man. Deal with it. What did they do? They just used this prophet. Threw him down there, and what had happened? It was burnt with fire. Because when Nebuchadnezzar had went to Jerusalem to burn it with fire, he did that after Zedekiah had broke that contract. That's why Jeremiah lamented. That's why Jeremiah lamented when you read the book of Lamentation. You know, when he had taken Jeconiah out, you know, he still set up Zedekiah to be king of Jerusalem. You know? But after Zedekiah did that, he was like, screw that, man. We're going to burn it and all y'all going to come over here. You know? Go ahead.
That's it, man. It says, "Thus saith the Lord power, This verse 22.
Now this is a prophecy. A future prophecy is what's going to take place. Because this is actually the highest branch. It wasn't those kings that we just read about, man. Those kings were set up by men. Like we read about in Deuteronomy the 17th chapter. Okay? They weren't placed by men to be the highest branch and all that. We're reading about the actual one that was chosen by the Lord to be the highest branch. Go ahead.
Ezekiel 17 and 22. Thus saith the Lord power. I will also take of the highest branch of the high cedar and will say, I will crop off from the top of his young twigs.
What's the cedar in this? That's Israel. You know, it's the highest. That's right. That's right. And that highest branch, who was that? Who was the branch? That's right. And pull up. What's the precept that goes into him being the branch? That's right. That's right. Pull up Isaiah chapter 11. Oh man, yeah.
Isaiah 11:1, and there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots.
That's right. A branch shall grow out of his roots, the stem of Jesse. Okay. And also there's another precept. 6. That's my man. My man. We just read it too. You can pull it up out of the sun.
And so Jeremiah 23:5.
You got that one?
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and the king shall reign in Solomon, and shall execute judgment in the earth. There's another one in Jeremiah called a branch.
Okay. Come.
This is Zechariah chapter 6, verse 12. And speak unto him, saying, thus,
previous verse.
11. Okay. This is verse 11. Then take silver and gold and make crowns and set them upon the head of Joshua, the son of Josedek.
Yeah, Joshua was the high priest around this time. Okay, around the time of the rebuilding of the temple when Zerubbabel had it built. But the reason why he used Joshua in this example, because Joshua's name was also Yahushua. In this example, he set the crown on Joshua's head. Joshua was a priest. Priests that wore crowns. Priests were kings. You know, the last king that tried to play the role of the priest was Uzziah. And he was stricken with leprosy when he tried that. You know? So this was spiritually talking about Yahushua when he told Joshua, when he placed that crown upon Joshua, the high priest's head. Because Yahushua was going to play the role of the king and the priest. How you know that? Hebrews 7:21.
Right. Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest.
And now it's going to right afterward. The branch.
Yeah. Verse 12. And speak unto him, saying, thus speaketh Yahweh of hosts, saying, behold, the man whose name is the branch, and he shall grow up out of his place, and shall build the temple of Yahweh.
That's right. Shall build the temple, man. Because mind you, the elder brought the statement out. He asked the younger brother the question, you know, what was the main thing that those heathen did to take us away from the Lord? He took down the temple. Raise it to the foundations thereof. That's right. So Yahushua is ultimately rebuilding that temple. And we're partakers within that.
That's right.
And that's how we're getting closer to the Lord. Through that king and through that priest, we're able to be brought back. It wasn't through Jeconiah. It wasn't through Zedekiah. They came through David, but they weren't ones that were meant to sit on the throne of David. Right. They were set up by men to sit on the throne.
Like King David himself. Like the throne where the temple was built by Solomon.
Right.
Same thing with Zedekiah and his son Joshua. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's who the temple will be established through.
Oh, you talking okay.
His father, who was Joshua's father?
Joshua was Josedek. Joshua. You talking about Zerubbabel?
Yeah.
I did the same thing earlier. Yeah. Them Z's, man.
Yeah. I always confuse that name.
God.
But it's the same thing, though.
Absolutely.
His son was set up to rebuild a temple.
Mm-hmm. No. God. We can finish off in Ezekiel.
Okay, this is Ezekiel 17, and I think we're at 22, I'll read that again. It says, thus said the Lord power, I will also take off the highest branch of this high cedar, and will set it, I will crop off from the top of his young twigs a tender one, and I will plant it upon an high mountain, and him in it.
That's right. The tender one, right? Isaiah chapter 53. And I'm going to just read verse 2.
And the mountain represents government too, because that's going to be the greatest government ever, man. The Yahushua's government.
Come. Isaiah 53:2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant,
And as a root out of a dry ground, he hath no form nor comeliness. And when he shall see him, there is no beauty that should desire him. When you read Isaiah 53rd chapter, you know that's talking about Yahushua.
Exactly.
You know? That's it on that.
Yeah, I'll just finish up. It says, in the mountain of the height of Israel will I play.
That's right. Go ahead.
And it shall bring forth boughs and bear fruit and be a goodly cedar.
Boughs means sons.
Sons.
And those younger brothers that weren't here when we was talking about that, that word bow means sons. And in order to prove that, you go to Genesis chapter 49, verse 22. All right, where it talks about Joseph being fruitful in his bows. That word is bond in the Hebrew. You know, now in this particular verse, it won't say bond in there. But when you look at it from a spiritual standpoint, you know it's talking about the sons.
Because Ephraim was the son of Joseph.
That's right.
That's what his name means.
Exactly.
Alright, it says, I'll just finish out in 23. It says, and bear fruit, and be a goodly cedar, and under it shall dwell all fowl of every wing. In the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell.
And the fowl represent those different nations. You know what I'm saying? The fowl of every wing that dwell under it, because under Israel, all the nations are going to have to go to us to get the understanding. All right, and that's in Isaiah 2nd chapter. We ain't going to have to teach our own brethren. They already is part of that tree. Okay? But the fowl's going to take shade and be covered under that. Okay? They're going to have to go to us to receive the understanding of Yahweh Shem Shah. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 24, last verse, it says, and all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree.
All the trees, that's right. We understand, you know, through the lesson that Elder did a few weeks ago in regards to Genesis the 3rd chapter. Those trees really mean people, you know.
It says, and all the trees of the field shall know that I, the Lord, have brought down the high tree.
And who was the high tree, okay? We know the high tree to be America right now. The high tree is the Iraq, the daughter of Babylon, the Edomites, right? Okay? That's the high tree right now. Go ahead.
Have exalted the low tree.
That was the spreading tree with low stature that we read of.
Spreading vine
with low stature that we read of in Ezekiel, the 17th chapter, the 6th verse. Okay? Go ahead.
It says, have exalted the low tree, have dried up the green tree.
Dried up the green tree because we were dry at a point in time. No moisture, dry bones.
Ezekiel, yeah.
That's right. Ezekiel 37.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Dried up the green tree.
Olive trees and the branches would blow it off.
That's right.
Clean olive tree and the branches would
Okay.
What were the precepts of the low tree?
The low tree?
17 and 8.
6.
6.
It says
7.
grew and became a spreading vine of low stature.
I'm going to just finish it out. It says, and have made the dry tree to flourish. I, the Lord, have spoken it and done it.
We were that dry tree and it was made to flourish through Yahweh Mashiach. He came to the Roman Empire, established everything, went back, falling away happened. He had set up our business to come back as Elijah. We brought back, and he's going to come back again and restore all things, man. We were given that water, and being brought back in the spirit power of Yahweh Shai, and we're gonna have our foot on the Babylonians' necks, man. These Edomites.
That's right.
Okay. So, hey, man, that's it. Lord knows that fine.
Peace up, Lawrence.
Yeah, I continue to.
That was about 2 hours.